rare earth metals, a name or a term which you have been listening for the past few weeks, and that was a main bottleneck between China and United States for a possible trade deal. China imposed export control on the rare earth metals because it has a dominance over 90% of the rare earth metal refining capacity in the planet. And US, depends on which analyst you're saying, US was forced to accept a lot of concessions to resume the import of those critical metals. Now the US government has been trying to move away from China's dominance. They have signed certain deals. They are trying to make investments in those areas and those technologies, and possibly they will try to invest in refining capacity. However, in this video, I'm going to tell that even though all those efforts are are being made and investment being made and governments are drawing policies, not just in USA but also in European Union, in India, in Australia, in other countries too, China will continue to dominate the critical earth or rare earth supply for the next 7 to 10 years, for a decade, unless something catastrophic happen. Why is that? Why is that? I'm going to explain by these 5 reasons in detail, about the reasons I think China is going to continue dominating, and there is no sight of other country emerging as a competitor to China in rare earth supply in the future. Let's go. The first one is processing of minerals, and I'm sure everybody knows what does it mean. It's about taking minerals from mines to a facility and then refining them to extract. Because if you are following news, you know there's these rare earth metals are not rare. They are in abundance. They are found in many countries, and extraction of them is not difficult. Like taking them out from the earth is not difficult. However, they are often found in clusters, like 4 or 5 metals found in joint together, and taking them out individually, it's a process. It's capital and energy intensive process. Capital intensive because it requires a lot of money to set up the plant, and because of the unrealistic supply demand cycle, you may not earn money very quickly. That's why it's a Chinese government funded these projects and not the private sectors. It's energy intensive. You need a lot of energy to run those plants because extracting some of the metals requires a huge amounts of energy and very different process, which by the way are not environmentally friendly. That's a possible reasons why Western governments, Western countries uh, avoided to master those technologies or to avoid it to get into this direction for the past 30 years. That's where China got 30 years of head start, and they have refined those methods they have improved those refining methods. They invested a lot in R&D, and if you go through some documents about number of patents filed by Chinese scientists compared to the rest of the world, you will see in critical minerals refining or processing facilities, they are majority in the past decades. So China has invested a lot in these technologies to make them much more robust and much more modernized, and other countries did not pay attention. So this is where China's advantage, 30 years head start, new technologies or modernized technologies. So other countries either have to take things from China or they have to start from wherever they are, and it's going to take some time. The second, which is not discussed much, is the capital intensive and the competitive advantage China has. When I say capital intensive, I think I covered in the first part that the process of refining and extracting those rare earth metals from the lump of so many metals is expensive. It's energy intensive, expensive. It's takes time. So what is the competitive advantage China has at the moment and the foreseeable future compared to other countries? Um, Most of these facilities are running through state support. So state invested in those facilities, and they don't have to worry about returning profits very soon, because these are capital intensive and they takes years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years before able to bring significant um, they are able to produce significant number of amount of rare earth metals to sell in the market, to start generating revenue. Forget about profit, but start generating revenue, because it takes time to set up a plant. Then you have to train the manpower, then you have to go for different certifications, then you have to fine tune a lot of things. So it takes time. Until that time, the your plant is not bringing any revenue. So Chinese government supported these projects, and there was no need for worry about profits. And the kind of the way the demand supply cycle runs for these metals, it's based on consumer demands and host of other factors. So profit is not always guaranteed, even if you are able to invest for many years. It's different than the finance industry, or consumption industry, where food industry, where you can have an estimate. Here you can't, because things are keep on changing, the technologies keep on changing, and based on that, the requirements for these metals also changes. So it changes everywhere. Okay, so demand supply is not certain, so profit is not guaranteed in this um process, in this industry. Now, here advantage China has, because I said 30 years of head start. So 30 years of head start, they had trained manpower initially on the old technologies. After that, because they are the only one investing in those technologies hugely, they have refined their methods. They have understood the environmental standards. They understood how to reduce the waste. They invest in the research and development to modify the process to meet the current environment laws. All these things, and they have a large number of patents. So they have a huge advantage of being the only country fully focused for the last 3 decades in this direction, where rest of the world was not really much focused on it. Yes, there are certain Western companies, very small scale. The scale is very small, and you can see only count in dozens. They are trying to focus on those technologies. Especially, they are focused on recyclable materials. It's like extracting from existing components. So they are focused on it, but the scale is still not there to compete with China. And this is where the political will is going to come, because currently a lot of leaders in the West are saying they want to stay independent of China. They want to develop their own supply. But will they support it this same? Will there be same political will for the next 7, 8, 10 years? Okay, for the sustained funding to finish these projects, to have a head start, to have a start, not a head start, to have a start, to have a competition with China for the next 10 years, what I'm talking about. Because these process setting up takes time, setting up, then going for certification, then testing the process, then all sorts of things takes time. So the funding has to come, the political will has to be there. Will that be there when you don't see a profit? That's a question. That is not the problem with China, because they have centralized, they have state governments funding. And other advantage with China's master is low cost of producing. Right? So they have doing this for 30 years, so they are doing it a large scale. And when you increase the scale, okay, so you reduce the cost of production, cost of refinement, cost of processing. Other countries which are going to start, they have to bear high cost. And if you are going to compete on the global market against China, against Chinese refined rare earth metals, then you are at a disadvantage. If you're a country like United States, which is going to use those rare earths for your domestic consumption, then it's fine. You don't have to compete against China. You can provide state subsidies and you can use it. But if you're going to sell in the global markets to challenge China's dominance, then you have to compete against Chinese produced refined, which are going to be low cost. After this process, it's going to take some time to reach the parity level, but at the start they won't be competitive. So this is the the advantage China has at this moment. Maybe it will go away in 7-10 years, but in my view, it's going to take some time for any country who's trying to catch up to think that they can reduce China's dominance. Yes, they can reduce, but still, it's going to take some time. Next, I'm going to say about talk about logistics and usage. So I think logistics word itself give a very clear idea of what does it mean. And this is where China has a real advantage. This is the least talked about, but this is a real advantage China has developed. Now, let's say you have a mine somewhere in the world, and Chinese company is mining those projects. Okay, it's a remote area, and those mined ores, or the mine, whatever mines have, whatever you mined has to be refined. So that has to come to China. That has to come to China for processing because the plant is in China. This is where mines to factories. China has an advantage because of the Belt and Road Initiative projects. China has invested heavily in building infrastructure, roads, let's say roads, railway lines, ports, to fine tune and reduce the time taken from mines to factories for processing. And I'll give you two examples how they're doing. It's a country called Zambia. Okay, right. So in Africa, Zambia, it has one of the largest copper ore deposits in the world, as is being said. And Chinese companies are mining. They have given the contracts, and China has built a railway line from Zambia. Zambia is a landlocked country. If you look at the map, from Zambia to Tanzania, from Zambia to Tanzania, they are reaching a port very easily. So from Zambia mine to Tanzania port, and China is invested in the railway lines and also the ports. And China is also invested in shipbuilding, the ships. One of the biggest ships China is building on the planet. So it's like road, railways, ports, and of course ships, right? So it's like end to end. China is able to let's say mine, then take those from mine for through railway to a port, from port to Chinese ports, from Chinese ports through railway or through the river waterways, they are taking to factories. So this is the logistic advantage China has, and this is how they invested, and this is how they also gain influence. Okay, so and that's some anybody who's trying to challenge China's rare earth and other mineral dominance has to also think about this. Second projects I'll talk about Peru. China has recently built a project, not project, sorry, a port in Peru, a deep water port, and that has allowed China to import the mined material from Bolivia, which is a landlocked country, through that port to Chinese plants, and also helps to China to export the finished goods. So these two are examples just to give idea that the China has not just invested in R&D of those critical minerals, but also invested in the way the reduction of time and other parts of the process. This reduces time effectively, and this also gives China control of the supply side of the node, that it can always knows when the material is coming from mines to factory. And any country thinking to compete with China and they're going to mine it, they also need to perfect this art. Now the fourth one is the users, the end user. Okay, now I think it's very obvious. It's very obvious if you are trying to extract critical mineral. You have done the processing, You have also sorted out your profit loss scenarios. Government is backing you up. You also sorted out logistics. But that's where the come the user advantage. Okay, this is where the user, what you will do with the finished the rare earth. China is a factor of the planet. It has use for everything. So anything you call rare earth, which is being used in semiconductors, in electronics, in machines, China can use them effectively uh, to create finished good. They can absorb all sorts of materials, and they can control the supply demand cycle easily. They're the largest, they must be the largest buyers of those rare earths. So if you're producing in a huge amounts, even after competing with China, what you will do if you don't have plants to absorb uh, um, those metals, those minerals? This is where China's advantage come. So in this way, China is able to control end-to-end supply. So they are mining in countries where they have contracts through Chinese companies. Then they are able to send those the ores mined to factories easily because of their Belt and Road Initiative and infra projects. Then they have factories to convert those things into finished goods, to final products on a very competitive and a very low cost and a competitive advantage. And using the same BRI thing, same countries, they are exporting the finished goods. So they are controlling end to end of this entire rare earth cycle, from mining to finished goods to selling. Anyone wants to compete, anyone saying that we will decouple, we will do this and all, has to keep this mind. This, these things, these not just, they have to keep in mind that that if you want to compete with China in global market, you have to have some sort of advantage to compete, to give the users a choice why they should not buy from China, or why should not they buy Chinese goods, or why shouldn't they sell to China those mines, unless you come with a better offer. Okay. Now let's talk about the last and final point, which I think also obvious: the recent geopolitical changes happening in the world, which is making more and more easier to understand that China may have an advantage over Western world, or anybody who's trying to, let's say, challenge China's dominance. So China has created the different forums, BRICS, Shanghai Corporations, ASEAN, and promoting the idea of multipolarity against the, let's say, Western-led world order. So they are promoting the idea of multipolarity, and through that, a lot of countries which are, let's say, mineral rich, they are now, I won't say aligned, they look China more favorably. They are more interested to deal with China. China is not just a factor of planet, but it's also a big country with a large consumer base, and trading with China is advantage. Um, has their own advantage, like our advantage, considering the recent action of the US administration of unilaterally putting sanctions. So these sanctions, and also just changing the things on various basis, on various times, without considering the interest of other countries, it's somehow increased the soft power of China. When China is advocating the alternative world order, and it's presenting itself as a responsible power which take care of the interest of those countries by not imposing sanctions, by not interfering in their internal affairs, by not invading those countries. And the soft power goes beyond the BRI projects. China has CCTV, China State Television has published program as publishing now in, I think, more than 24 languages, and it has bureaus in many African and South American countries, in Asian countries too. And it also sponsored cultural programs for students from those countries to come to China, and Chinese students to go there. And this has been going for many years. And big advantage of soft power of China is, when China builds something, it's visible. The infra projects like roads, ports, airports, even if they are not profitable, they are actually visible. to showcase, yes, China is doing something. And this is where many Western countries lag. They did not build infra. They have paid, they have funded uh, um, different initiatives, but when it comes to infrastructure development, China has way ahead of everything, ahead of other countries, and this infrastructure is visible. So China made it. This soft power is China's advantage, and it is presenting itself as a responsible country to deal with, to have business with. So in the future, if you're in a country who's going to choose where to have mining projects, on which country I should choose, there's a possibility you may have better favorable view of China compared to West. And uh, last but not least, as per many estimates, the European economy, the US allies, the Western Bloc, which is the one trying to trying to challenge China's dominance in rare earth. The European economy is declining. By many estimates, it's not growing as fast as possible, as estimated, or it's not going to grow very soon because there's their own issues, aging populations, lack of productivity, and a host of other political factors to take into account. And same goes for, I won't say the same for US economy. It's a growing, but at the same time, to challenge China's dominance, the US government is trying to have an alliance of other countries. And when you talk about other countries, US is the most powerful economy wise, but its economy is declining, and the kind of funding, the kind of political will it needed to challenge China's dominance for the next 10 years, it may not have. The coalition may be fragile, the political will may not come, the money may not come, the require changes in environmental standards, the land laws, the manpower training, and access to competitive markets, subsidizing those companies, they may or may not come. So, based on these five different points, I believe China's dominance in critical rare earth metals will continue to be there for the next decade at least. It may be before something comes, someone invented new technologies which make it easier to set up a refinery or processing of plants and make it more cost competitive, or recycling of those metals from used components become profitable or scalable, or extracting those metals from seabed, and that's a new technology being, that's a new thing being tried, also become big enough to challenge the dominance of China, then we may have this earth-shattering moment. But if nothing like this happen, then I'm afraid so. Those who are advocating that it just within 1 or 2 years, the all the require rare earth will be in the market and we don't need China, well, they will be disappointed. I'm sorry to say, you will be disappointed, and you are not correct in your opinion or analysis.